guys, it's Sue, your not so crafty crafter, here with another video this afternoon. I just recorded a process video, and of course when I went to view it on my computer, half of the time the card I was working on wasn't in full view of the camera. So I'm going to go ahead and delete that. I will share the card I made, but again, I need to perfect how I do process videos. It's not an easy process for me, and my camera setup's not the greatest. I don't have a lot of time on my camera that I can do a longer video. So I'm just kind of doing the best I can. It was basically a no stamping card created with paper pack that I just showcased on one of my haul videos. And I was going to just go ahead and do a video and show you the card itself. And then I thought, well, why not share some of the other cards I've made that are made strictly with paper packs and there is no stamping involved for people that are just getting started out. You can make cards without having any stamps. Ideally, stamps are the way to go because there are so many awesome, cute, adorable images out there. I am slowly building my stamp collection. Every time I go shopping, I buy another one or two. There's tons of great shopping sites out there. Simon Says Stamp, Scrapbook.com, Waffle Flower, Altenew, Concord and Ninth, and there's just so many, it gets overwhelming. And of course, if I won the lottery, I'd be buying everything I saw, but of course we all have budget constraints, so I do the best I can with what I have. Anyway, let's go. I'll show you a few of the cards that I've been working on the past, let's say 3 weeks, 3 or 4 weeks. The first ones are going to be no stamping cards, and they came from a couple of paper packs that I bought. I bought the paper packs for a specific reason. Oh, I remember I was doing a project with a student of mine. We had to do a wax museum type of thing. We chose Princess Diana, and I was helping her do her poster board with pictures of the princess and stuff, and I wanted pretty paper. So I went ahead and I picked up these two, let me just move these out of the side, these two paper packs. This one is called Rose Quartz, and this one is called Lavender. And I'm going to stand up here because I'm not sure I have these in screen. No, I don't. See the Rose Quartz. Let me zoom out a little bit. Is that better? And then this one is Lavender. And the papers inside are just so pretty. This one is more vintagey. And there's like 6 designs, 5 sheets of each design, so, and lots cut aparts. And then this one I use the most out of for doing the project because there's a lot of really pretty florals here, like that, and then the cut aparts that I used, and that. So those are what I used for the first 1, 2, 3 cards here, and then the bottom card is the one that I just made using the paper packs I just bought. So let's go ahead and get started, and I'll share with you my process on these. Now, this one is a no stamp card. It's made with a Hobby Lobby card base, and I'm going to say 4 by 5.5, yep. And then this base here, I love to watercolor. I'm not good at it by any means, but I love the process of it. And this was made using a couple of metallic watercolor paints that I have. And the way I watercolor is I like to wet the watercolor paper and just put the paint on the wet paper and just let it move and swirl it. And that's what this background is. It's just something I was bored one afternoon and I was playing, and that's what I came up with. And it kind of really matched the background of this wood grain on this card. Basically, it's a 3x4 cutout that come from one of these paper packs. Oh, it's right there. It's on the cover. It's on this one. The Prima Marketing Rose Quartz paper pack. This is one of the 3x4 cut aparts. I wrapped some white or like a vanilla colored twine. It has silver in it, and added some little gemstones, and I have a card. And I think it's just absolutely darling. It's so easy, and it didn't take me long to do. So these are the kind of cards I like. Plus, they're generic and a little more pleasing to the general public. Well, this is another one, again, on a Hobby Lobby pre-made base. I buy those when they're on sale, so they're like 2 for $5 or 2 for $6, whatever it is, and they're the small ones, the 4 by 5.5. So again, what I did is I took a piece of the paper and cut it to cover the full card base. That's what this piece right here is. This is the full card base. And then another 3x4 cut apart, and I mounted it onto a piece of black cardstock just so that it would pop up off of this. Otherwise, it would just kind of blend in. Added a few gems and called it a day. And the sentiment is already built into the card, and it says choose kindness. The card is blank, so I can use it as a note card, and I can just send it as an encouraging card to a friend if I so choose. And then this one, I really like this one too. This one I used a black card base. Now I will say this one's probably, this is 4 1/4 by 5.5. I cut this myself out of Cricut cardstock, and I can tell it's Cricut by the texture on the paper. And then I mounted a piece of white cardstock inside so that if I want to write a note, I can. And then again, I did the same thing. I used this gorgeous black flower background. And then this is a cut apart. This is a little bit bigger. This was one of like the 4x6 cut aparts, but to make it fit the card, I cut it down a little bit. Added a few gems, called it a day. And I love the sentiment on this. A grateful heart is a magnet for miracles. How awesome is that? Isn't that a beautiful sentiment? So, yeah, you can definitely make stamps without stamping, or make cards without stamping. I love these. I started actually doing this with Christmas stuff, with Christmas cards and Christmas tags. I went through some of my Christmas paper kits, and there's tons and tons of these cut aparts, the 3x4 and the 4x6, and I thought, those have to be good for something. So I hit YouTube and found a bunch of people making their cards using their cut aparts. May Made It is one to watch for stuff like that. She loves to use every square inch of her paper pack. That's a great way to do it. Okay, now on to today's card. This is the one I tried to do a process video on, and it seemed like every time I was blending the ink pad, I was like off screen and kind of like this and kind of like this and showing the card like this and a little bit like that and then some of that, and I could never get the whole card in the screenshot, so I just deleted it. It was horrible. Again, I need a way to streamline that, but this is the card I made today. This is from the paper pack that I just bought. Basically what I did is, again, another pre-made card base, and I cut this. I probably should have cut this just a little bit bigger. This piece was cut to 4 3/4 by 3.5. I probably should have cut it to like 5 by 3 3/4, just so that it covered more. There's a lot of white there, and it's clean and it's neat, but I'm not 100% happy with it. I think the final outcome is adorable with this part of it. I just don't like the white background. So maybe I'll go back and do something with the square sides. So we'll see. But basically, this is a cut apart. I inked up using my Distress Oxide, the background paper, with the yellow, the orange, and the red to match the snow cone. Found a sentiment sticker I liked. Added some Wink of Stella and some Nouveau drops, and there we go. And it is blank inside so that I can write just a personal note. Now, these next round of cards, sorry, I'm getting up again. I'm checking my time. I'm about halfway there. These next round of cards are cards that I made using watercolor backgrounds or stencil backgrounds that I play with. I'll come home from work and need to unwind and de-stress, but creating an entire card sometimes gets to be just as stressful. So I'll come home and I'll make backgrounds. I'll do all kinds of fun stuff, and I'll just create. I mean, these are some of the things that I do. I just come home and I play. This is just an ink pad that actually has all of these colors on it. I stamped it on a block, wet it, and put it on some paper. And then I did this happy birthday banner across it. So it's just a background waiting to go on a card. And actually, I have this in here. It may go on that card. Ha! Cool. This was something I saw someone do online. I believe it was include a thank you. It's a piece of double-sided sticky tape that you use when you're doing die cuts and you want the back of the die cut to be sticky. Well, she put it on a piece of cardstock, and then the sticky side was up. She put a stencil on it and poured glitter over it. Now, the stencil part was, I guess the blue part was the open part, and this was the lines. I can't remember exactly how I did it, but look at all that shimmer and shine, and that's a background. I'll use that for something. And then here's another one. This is just a stamp, and I bought these brush tip markers at Walmart, and I wanted to try them out, so I just colored them on the back of my stamp here. And the stamp is kind of distressed looking to begin with. It's just a background stamp. And I just put it on a piece of plain white cardstock. So I've got another background. But that's how these cards started out. And that's the reason I was going into so much detail. This one I basically just did. It's a Tim Holtz stencil. And I had bought some silver. It's not embossing paste. Let me get it here. It's from Faber-Castell. It's a Texture Luxe paste. And it's a pearl finish, and I wanted to play with it, so I put it through that stencil and I cut it down, and I thought, oh, that's going to make a pretty card. And I didn't think it needed anything else. I mean, all the shimmer on that. So I embossed a sentiment. Of course, I wanted the card to go this way, and I put the sentiment in backwards or sideways, so it can open this way. It doesn't matter. The tops of the roses are there as well, so it doesn't matter. But I took a piece of black cardstock and stamped the sentiment and embossed it with pewter embossing powder, and it just says thinking of you. And then this one, I'm going to turn these over so they're not distracting. Again, just a watercolor, and I love the like pearlescent watercolors that you get, and I used pink, yellow, and orange in the background of this and just let it run. The background was actually saturated with paint, and then I like the way it turned out, but it needed something. So I went ahead and I stamped this happy birthday from a stamp set that I bought at Hobby Lobby, I believe. And I heat embossed the images so that they would pop up and not get lost in the paint. I think it turned out pretty cool. And then this one, again, is a watercolor background, and I just kind of gradiated it a little bit, and it's blue, greens, and this bright yellow. And again, it's a shimmer paint. It's a pearlescent paint. And then once it dried, I went ahead and I stamped the flower. The flower, you can see, kind of got lost and smudged a little bit, but imperfection is sometimes cool too. So I just left it the way it was and didn't try to correct it. And then I stamped the stamp and embossed it with clear embossing powder. So I love the way that came out. And it just kind of jumps up off the page. Now this one is a little bit different, and I smudged the inside of this. So this one was, again, a watercolor background. Just using different shades of blues. There's like 2 shades of blues and a greenish blue in there. And then I ran it through, when I cut it down, I ran it through my die cutting machine. Or not my die cutting, my embossing. I used an embossing folder from Darice, and I ran it through so that it would have some dimension, and I thought it came out really pretty. And I went ahead and used a stamp set. Now, when I shared this with a group that I'm on, I had just done the embossing, and what I actually did is I ink blended these with some Distress inks, these background pieces, but they didn't quite match up to the pearlescence of the paint that I used. So I put some Wink of Stella on there, and I'm hoping you can see that. And then again, my Nuvo drops, and these are a crystal. These are actually, there's 2. There's a blue crystal, and then there's also the blue that's the jewel drop, which is clear and see-through, which is what these are. These 2 are. But I thought that turned out really cool, and then I went ahead and stamped Celebrate inside. But of course, I got an ink thingy there, so I'm going to go ahead and use my sand eraser and see if I can pull that off. Oh yeah, that's beautiful. Perfect. I love this thing. Best invention ever. But those are some of the cards I've been working on. And again, like I said, I come home at night, I make a few backgrounds, I put them aside, and I figure what I can do with them. And that's what a lot of these have started out as. Hopefully someday I can figure out the process video stuff and show you how I do what I do when I make those. The watercoloring probably wouldn't be so hard to do, but it's putting the whole card together that I seem to struggle with. So that's all I have for today, folks. I hope you enjoy the rest of your Sunday. I think I'm going to end with the videos here because I have laundry to do. I have to work tomorrow, and I don't think that my fellow workers would appreciate me going in either with dirty clothes or naked. So we're going to close for now. We're going to say goodbye. Have a great Sunday afternoon. Enjoy the rest of your week. Take care. Bye-bye. Oh, and don't forget to like and subscribe. Bye.